That imposter syndrome is going, am I good enough?
Yeah.
Right? You know, your whole life you feel like you're too young.
Yeah.
And then eventually you suddenly feel that like
Too
you're too
old.
old.
Yes.
Right? And then even while you're feeling too old, then you suddenly think you're too young for that, right?
Yes.
So failure and success are on the same road. It's not like failure's there, success is over there. They're not in different directions. They're on the same direction. You only get to success through failure. So when
You've got to say that again. You've got to say that again. Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of the Fanatic Mindset with Tlalane Ntuli. Today I am with the incredible Tony Davis. I call him the CEO Whisperer. Not something he likes too much, but Tony is an entrepreneur and Tony is an author of this incredible book that I've just been reading called The Triple Guarantee, and we're going to talk about it shortly. Tony, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor.
Thank you for coming.
The lone wolf syndrome is really bad, where, you know, it's me and I've got to do this and I'm a self-made man. That's just rubbish, you know. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Everything's a team, you know.
Yes.
Even if you say, well, you know, I won Wimbledon tennis singles, you still had a team behind you.
Yes.
You still had a coach. You had trainers. You had
Yes.
So everything's a team, and another one which is really big is the celebrity trap. I think I've already done it.
I was actually about to ask you that.
I know that's a big one, and the other one is the imposter syndrome, and I find that's probably one of the biggest ones. I find people go, I've got this dream, but I'm not good enough to do it.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm an imposter. Right?
Yeah.
I've recognized that in my life a lot. And people go, you know, will you come and be a mentor for me or something like that?
Yes.
And I'm like, I can't mentor you. You should be mentoring me, right? You know, it's like that. So that imposter syndrome is going, am I good enough?
Yeah.
Right? You know, your whole life you feel like you're too young.
Yeah.
And then eventually you suddenly feel that like
too
you're too old.
Yes.
Right? And then even while you're feeling too old, then you suddenly think you're too young for that, right?
Yes.
So, and that's part of that imposter syndrome. So you've got to sort of work out what are the things that are blocking you. And there's lots of different things.
Okay.
I found those are the 4 key things where I find it just trips people up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if they get through them, it'll
I actually want to go through them a little bit more specifically. So I'll talk to each one as you've written them in the book, because I think somehow Tsele was able to, even if this was kind of a blocker in her life, she was able to kind of work her way out of that.
Right.
But not a lot of people know how to do that, right? And in fact, at the end of the conversation, I asked her, do you consider yourself a unicorn? Because I think the ability to not, you know, allow or to be a full-time employee on the one hand, and then a businesswoman who's still able to fight your blockers does require a somewhat extraordinary
it is
mindset.
Yeah.
So one of the blockers that you talk about is the is it worth it blocker, which you've just spoken about. It's like, is it me? Like you've spoken about that. And then the second one you speak about is, where is it now? And what I love about the book is you use examples, which is good. The imposter syndrome. And you're quite right in saying that this is probably the most common. Yeah. Because even in corporate, I've heard a lot of people talk about it. I haven't quite understood it, maybe because I thought I wasn't.
Right.
I didn't suffer from imposter syndrome. Right. But it can show up quite differently in different people.
All the time.
Yeah.
There's a quote right at the beginning of that section by Sheryl Sandberg she was the COO of Facebook. Yeah. And she's still doubting herself, right? And going, am I good enough? I mean, it's just like unbelievable, you know. So it does happen a lot. I think the good thing about, and we talked about this before, having context, other people look at your life, is somebody can come in and go, no, but you are that good, right? And even if you're not that good now, you are here, and you can learn, right? Because wherever we do, there's a lovely little graph where you can go, as you start something new, your ability is down. So if you can imagine an axis where your ability is up and your knowledge on how to do it is a different axis. As you go up in ability, your knowledge goes up and it becomes easier, but you can become lazy. So as you start something new, you get into a point where you go, I don't have that skill, I don't have that knowledge, and you can be a bit fearful. But then that gets your adrenaline going, and as you push through that, your knowledge goes up and your ability goes up.
Oh,
right?
wow.
But you gotta let both of them go at the same time. Okay. Otherwise you can end up knowing a lot and not needing much ability. You just get lazy.
Right? Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
So with things like the people not having enough confidence in themselves, they've got to sometimes know that they need to stretch themselves. But not so much that they're stressed out of their head, if you know what I mean.
Yes,
there's eustress and de-stress. So you want to be in the eustress, in that excited stress.
Yes.
I'm going to do this thing. I'm sure every single time Usain Bolt runs 100 meters, he's got butterflies, right? Well, he should have, because that's all the adrenaline going.
Yes.
And you think, but you've done this
a million times,
right? And you're really good, you're the best in the world.
Yeah.
But still, that's eustress. That's an excited stress, right?
Okay.
De-stress would be me trying to beat Usain Bolt at 100 meters.
And then you go on to talk about blocker number 3. And for me, I've heard of the imposter syndrome. I've heard of blocker number 1. I had never heard of the celebrity trap. Yeah. Although I had never heard of it, I have experienced it in a lot of people, and to some extent even in me. Right. Because I think that the power of even the 3 tools that we're talking about, business advice and coaching and mentoring, is the ability to say, I need help. Right. The ability to look in the mirror and say, actually, I'm not perfect, right? And if you can't do that, then
you're stuck.
You're stuck.
Yeah.
You're stuck. So the celebrity trap, let's talk about that. And also because I want to talk about it from the perspective of someone who might need to see themselves as a little bit of a celebrity at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the celebrity trap goes hand in hand with pride, but sometimes you can get stuck in 2 sides of the celebrity trap. One is, I'm really great, nobody's better than me, I'm really successful, I don't need anybody else, I'm the best in the room. It's very sad, if you walk into a room and you're the brightest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. You should go and get yourself in rooms where people intimidate you, right?
Wow.
So that's a good thing. Every relationship, side here, every relationship is an elastic band.
Sure.
Between you and somebody else. So you're pulling, here's an elastic band, let's say you're here and somebody's here, you're pulling them up or they're pulling you down.
Yeah.
Right? So if somebody's pulling you down, then maybe that's not such a good relationship, right? You need to maybe you should cut the elastic band, right? But if you're pulling them up, that's a good relationship. But you also need to hook your band around somebody else who can pull you up. So in business, find somebody better than you who's gone through that and go, okay, what are you doing? How have you done it? And let them pull you up, but then learn from them. Now, the celebrity trap says, I don't need to learn from anybody because I've already made it. I'm good and I don't need anybody. And that's a really dangerous place to be because when you if you meet really wise people, they say they learn until the day they die. They never stop learning. And so when you stop learning, you start dying, right?
Wow.
So the celebrity trap, the other side of it is it can just be pride with the celebrity trap. And you go, I've done well. I'm too shy. I'm too, not shy, but I don't want to ask somebody else's advice because I feel like I'll expose myself and they'll really find out that I'm not that good.
Yes. And part of that is the imposter syndrome, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And so they sort of link together, and you see that sometimes. I've seen it in churches where a pastor maybe has a problem. They go, who do I speak to? I'm the pastor, right? I've got a marriage problem. Who do I speak to? I don't want anybody to know I've got a marriage problem, so I don't have anybody to speak to. So, and that can come in. Humility is the most wonderful thing in life. Because humility just opens the door to everything.
Sure. And I think even the Bible talks about that.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. It talks about how God, it doesn't say prefers necessarily, but how he honors the humble. Right. Because being humble is being more like Jesus Christ himself. Right. Because he could do all of these things, but never once was he boasting about it, right? Yeah. And that's one of the things I think that makes someone stand out. But thank you for your time. Thank you for the simplicity with which you have explained these concepts. Thank you for this book, The Triple Guarantee, The Power of Guided Growth.